glorious.
Glory lasts forever!
What's up guys, welcome back for some more Glorious Smite. Today we're doing Hunter build guides for Season 3. There's about 3 main builds that I think are pretty good, and we're going to cover the first one, which I think is the best one, and then we'll go through some of the variants. So the build I think is the best right now is probably the one you've seen the most of, sort of. Mine's is a little twist on it. So you would start tier 2 trans, then finish trans, right? Then you would get booties. It doesn't really matter what kind. Early game warrior tabi are preferred because of the increased ability damage, but late game ninja tabi out DPS them, so basically get whatever you want, nobody cares. They're both good. And this is your lifetime assay, offers attack speed, pen, and a really good passive. Right? Then you get kin size. Kin size is the sort of the attack speed you're going to get. It got buffed, it gives us more power now. It's cheaper. Exit got a slight pen nerf, and this actually helps you more against squishies, so don't worry, no. In fact, I think it actually helps more against tanks as well. I think kin size passive is now just too strong, but yeah, what are you gonna do? Kin size has always been there or thereabouts, either too strong or too weak. You either see it a lot or you don't see it at all, so prepare for the return of kin size. And then I like to go straight into crit. It is the 2 big crimes, malice and DBs, and that is the build that I quite like. However, I like to do a last minute switch, right? But I'll build it as well, just so you can see. Remember, this is unstacked trans. You get about an extra 22 power. So yeah, you would have about 270 odds. So what I like to do, late game, sell this. Remember, you're already 6 builds, so it's quite late game. And put in the new crit item, Wind Demon. Now, a lot of you are going to be confused by this and think, why would you get this new crime? Well, trans does give you bigger crits. This gives you more consistent crits, but this helps you trade, right? I think a big part of being a hunter is not only having as much DPS as possible, it's also about having the ability to out trade their hunter. Because if you can kill their hunter, you're the big threat left alive. Their big threat is dead. How would you outtrade them? You get Wind Demon. It's passive. Your critical hits now also reduce healing enemies by 40% for 3 seconds. That includes lifesteal, which hunters use. It also includes HP 5 on gods like Hercules and Jack. And of course, it's naturally counters to gods like Helen after day. And you've got 60% crit here. I know Artemis gets a boosted 15%, but on your standard kind of hunter, you're going to have 60% crit. And with crit being very generous, you're probably going to get close to 70%. So that's pretty good. You've got really good chance to crit, a lot of power, 2 attack speed items. You've got lifesteal, you've got the additional passive of kin size as well. You're going to be swinging, and with the additional effect of malice and the boosted crit with Deathbringer, it's going to be pretty good. You'll be critting fairly often for fairly big numbers, reducing their healing, and just swinging. It's going to be really, really strong. It's a really, really good build. I think that's the best build currently. I think we're going to see the trans one more often, because I don't think a lot of people have realised, or people don't value the out trading potential of Wind Demon. That's their loss, but now you guys know. So yeah, this is definitely a good pickup. Other items, if you're kind of struggling against enemy ADC, maybe you went in this build and you're on Neath, you've got no attack speed steroid, he's like Rama, and he's got an attack speed steroid and you're just losing, and you need an advantage. I got you covered there as well, boy. Frostbound. Now, a lot of people didn't like this in Hunters last season, or I didn't see very often, but it is so fucking good. It reduces their movement speed, and we all know what it's like when Hunters are boxing, right? You're shooting left and right and shooting your autos, right? So whoever's shooting faster and dodging the most wins, generally. They now dodge slower, allowing you to hit more of your shots. They also now attack slower because the attack speed's low as well, meaning they attack less often, and it gives you boosted health, which means you need more shots to kill you, and it still gets power, boosting your overall damage. It's such a good item to outtrade other hunters as a hunter, because it gives you such a big advantage. So never feel afraid to buy this item if you think you need it. It's really good. And if anyone questions it, just justify it the way I just did. Because you can't, if they ever actually just read the fucking passive, you idiot, that'd probably be enough. But since they're an idiot, they might not be able to read, so you might need to try and, dumb it down for them. Items that I think are a bit of more of a... People want them and I don't think they're as good as they are. Fatalis. Don't get me wrong, the passive is good, but any type of slow, including Frostbound, completely negates it. Completely. Doesn't matter if you get the no attack speed debuff, if you're slowed down, you're still slow. So Frostbound straight up counters Fatalis. It also reduces your attack speed, which this gives, and this doesn't give power boost in your DPS. Oh, well, it still will boost your DPS, but it won't boost your damage, because it's still got some attack speed. But you're going to lose most of that. And you can't take any additional shots. I think Fatalis is basically a slight downgrade of Frostbound on Hunters, really. You could build both though and be super cheesy, which would be really fun, but that would really hurt your damage output. You'd really need to land all your shots, you'd really need to watch your possession, it'd be harder. So I usually recommend one when I recommend Frostbound. Of course, never be afraid to pick up other items if they're really tanky and you're struggling. Titan's Bane's still good, Exec's still good. Don't be afraid of items like Beat Stick and stuff, you know, they're still good items. Rage is still good as well if you really want it, but the Rage nerf did kind of bother me a little bit. You still get increased crit, it just takes longer. It bothers me. So yeah, something like that is other good things. But yeah, I think this build's the best. But there is other builds. The other build is the pen build. This works really well on gods like Neath and Cupid. You look at Neath, 350 plus 90%. Potential for another additional 100% if she got a weave down. So you're going to be swinging pretty hard. Her ult is 490 plus 120%. Keep in mind you're going to have close to 300 power here with lots of pen. So against hunters, assassins, mages, you're going to get basically whatever the numbers say. 490 plus 120%. So it's going to deal a lot of damage. It's going to deal like 800 damage. This will deal about 600 damage. More if you've got 100%, it'll deal about 900 as well. And of course your A's are going to hurt. So what is the build, you may be wondering? It starts off fairly standard. Trans. Booties. I'd recommend Water Tab because you are actually going for the big swings. In fact, let's see how much power this is offering right now at base. 74, yeah, it actually offers closer to 100, which is why you always increase it by 22, because it's unstacked. Then you're going to go into Jotuns, and then you're just going to get every other item in this tree. Yeah, the Mace Tree. The Ability Hunter's best friend. And that's your full build. Remember, you've got an additional 22 power there, it's not showing, so you're actually getting closer to 300, which will also increase your basic attack damage. In fact, with a build basically just like this, when I had the 450 pot, and I believe I had the 3k pot, I'm not sure, I think I did. So 450 pot and the 3k pot, which I get as a big power boost. But against the Hoom Bats with old Melvno giving 40 FSD, my A's were hitting for about 530. There's no crit there, just 530 raw damage against someone who bought FSD. Because you get so much pen and so much power, your A's still fucking swing, right? And your abilities swing. So that's the build to go if you want to go the kind of ability build. Also, it works on Cupids. Why does it work on Cupids? 170 plus 90%. Hits twice. And you can still A during the twice. It doesn't get cancelled. It just keeps going. So it's 170 plus 90%. Right, and you're going to have close to 300 power. So you're going to have about 270 put onto that. So you're going to hit for about 440 twice. So you're going to get about 880, but we'll just knock it down a little bit and say about 850 on a squishy with your Heartball. 850. Your ult is going to hit for 540 plus 100%. You get nearly 300 power, so you're going to get about 800 off that as well. So you get about 800 off this and about 800 off this. So for your 1 and your 4 alone, you're going to get about 1600 damage on a squishy. And you guarantee 1 auto because of the mess, and your autos will be hitting for over 300. You probably even guarantee 2, but what I'm trying to say here is just with your 1 and your ult alone, you will 100 to 0 squishy. In fact, I believe there's a video on my channel about Cupid, and I did the 1 and 4 and I just killed the enemy DC. Like, it just works. It's basically Loki. See how Loki goes 3-4 and you die? He goes 1-4 and you die. It's the same idea. So yeah, it's really strong. And of course your heal is affected by power as well. So your hearts late game will be giving you about 170, 180, and you get 3 hearts. So it's pretty strong. And then there's a third build that you see every now and then, and that is Deathstone, either into boots or devils, right? Either way, right? So you get, we'll just assume you get devils. Then you get booties. Then you see Ikevel. Then you see ken size. Where is it? Right, you're pretty sure wasn't. So then you get Titans. It's basically the no crit build, and I can't remember what the last item is, but I've seen a few variants of this, and I kind of like it as well. You could even get oboe, but yeah, it's basically the no crit build. It is decent. It consistently hits hard, but not as hard because you've got a lot more attack speed. So like you can just kind of overwhelm squishies if their abilities are down, like mages and assassins. If they're based on ability and their abilities are down, you can overwhelm them just by dead fast, right? Pew 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 pew, and they just die, evaporate. It wouldn't probably work as well on Rama because you would overcap on attack speed when you activate your 2. But if we get rid of this, you might still overcap. Yeah, maybe just get another big crit item or something to finish. But I think this is actually basically an overall downgrade on the first build I showed. I think that's the best build, right? The one with the triple crit. But you get Wind Demon, because I think the ability outtrade's good. I think you want to be able to kill the enemy hunter, because that would be quite big for you. And of course, more chance to crit is more chance to crit. But yeah, I prefer the trans route. Trans, Warrior Tabai, Assay, Kins, Deathbearer Malice. Then you can sell that late game if you want. It's still basically the same as Season 2, really. But that kind of covers most of the variants. Don't get me wrong, there is other little fun things you can do. Like whenever I play fucking hunters, are usually solo, usually Apollo. Because Apollo just beats a lot of warriors, because his mess is really good. He like interrupts tier, so you beat tier. But you don't really beat him, but you don't lose them. Eventually he just clears too well and he heals too strong and he's got a blue buff so he sustains too well. But you don't lose them. You don't lose to Bologna. You don't lose to basically any warrior or guardian as Apollo. It just puts in so much work. So yeah, you would go. I just kind of make up as I go along. But someone in my clan went for an Apollo build with Ninja Tabai. I think he went Devils, Ninja Tabai into the Crusher and just went to Tower Push. It's a neat idea. But you can go kind of Tower Push build as well. Like you can get Boots, Devos, and just like Titans. So like you could go Boots, right? Get your Devos. Get some attack. You want some cheap effective attack speed item. So you probably go this just as cheap. And then you'd go into your Titans. This looks a lot similar like that round build I gave you. Then you could go like for Tower Push, you want Pen, so you could go into say Crusher. Just to push towers, and maybe the beat stick still, you can still use a damaging ability to reduce the heal of the enemy. So this is more of a tower push build with lots of pen and some cheap attack speed, and it would still fight alright. And of course is the classic build I used to go all the time, the Manticore, which was basically just crit is boring, let's build something that's not crit, let's have some fun. I believe I started Devos, Boots, I believe it was Oboe, Frostbound, Titan's Bane, because it gave you a bit of attack speed, a bit of tower push, and I think it was old beat stick to kind of help trade, but you could also put in kin size as well. Yeah, something like that. It was basically, you don't really see Oboe, you don't really see Frostbound. Back then you didn't really see kin size as much, and Devils were already kind of been taken out for trans. So that was my kind of spin on it. It still works, still good. Yeah, it's just a fun build. But yeah, I definitely think the first build I showed you is the way to go. Unless you're playing Cube underneath, then the pen build works really well as well. So guys, that is Hunters in Season 3. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. If you came up with a build that you think is really, really good, then let me hear it. Maybe it is really, really good. You know, it might be. Or maybe, don't tell me, keep it a secret. Prove us all wrong. Shows your power from the shadows. You know, everyone starts going this new build I've never heard of. Then you swagger out your screenshot. You did it first. That'd be pretty cool as well. So guys, also enjoy this. Thanks for watching. As always, see you all next time.